Inside my create world, I have this big empty area over at my pig factory, which I built before day 100 in this world. So today, let's give this area a revamp, turning it into a massive farming zone, which means I'm going to be creating auto farms for all these different materials, which means I need a lot of space. And right now, the area which I want to expand around my pig factory isn't the most suitable terrain. So grabbing a shulker here, let's grab a bunch of buns. Let's grab a bunch of grass. That's what it's called, Stam. And let's just get the terraforming started. I had a rough idea on where I wanted buildings to go on this, so I tried to create the terrain from that. And I'm all out of dirt. 2 hours later, and this is what we've got. It sure is starting to get there. Gotta just craft up a bunch of torches before we get more dirt, because I don't want 1,000 mobs down here once I do fill it in. Hello? Buddy, you're Lambo. Anyways, I'm gonna continue placing blocks now. I see ground. Oh my god, there's no wireframes anymore. I still got more work to do, but let's prepare my shovel first. Yeah! It's been 4 hours. And with our shovel repaired, oh, the terrain is done. I definitely want to get some building going because that was about 5 hours of placing dirt. Also, just don't look at the green side. Okay, thank you. And I've obviously got to get some blocks to build. And do I have iridium? It seems like I do. That's lucky. Although I would love a little more if I had it. Uh-oh. I guess let's go ahead and take our drill. Here's crimsite, but that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, yep, here it is. Yoink. It's definitely enough. Let's get out of here and drill back in the garage. Let's flip and unflip that lever and let's get it all unloaded. And now we have so much more iridium. It also mined a chest, so I got some beetroot seeds and melon seeds, and I missed the staircase, but we're gonna be needing those later. And all of these I want to turn into iridium stairs, and yep, that's all I needed, but we have extra. Oh no, I only have 3 end rods. Well, we gotta head over to the end, say how to potato, and jump in the hole. And end rods. And a stack should definitely do. I also only really needed 3 more because I only need 6. Aww. Gotta grab a few stacks of iron so that I can use the villager setup I spent so long making. Give emeralds. This is absolutely amazing. Now, obviously, with these emeralds, let's run over here and, oh, right. I'm yet to fill this one up fully, but we have 6 of them at least, and I need a ton of bricks. No more struggle for bricks. That was only 1 row of the villagers, and that tripled my brick output for a day. Now, is this enough cobble? I hope so. Let's grab some redstone and some iron sheets and craft those into redstone contact. Yep, definitely enough. Blocks prepared, and I think this is gonna be the location, because I want this to be the most factory looking one. Although saying that, I have no idea how I'm really gonna do the other ones, so the other ones might also look like a little bit of a factory, but this one is at least going to be factory-like, so I'm gonna put that one closer to the other factories, and then some more buildings like this over in this direction. Now let's get some foundation pillars in here, just to kind of try to mark off a little bit of a size here. And I think around about there. Obviously, I can't fit the moss farm in here, but we have this underside. I just want a cool decorative building, I can't lie. Anyways, let's go ahead and extend up these builds. Anyhow, starting to stack the pillars up a few blocks. Before I want to come in here with some granite. Using some stairs to give this a little bit of detail. Above this, going in with some rough tuff before taking the redstone contacts I made earlier for a cool, like, trim. And I've got to be honest, it has a really nice side texture. And bottom one. I really like that. Now let's take a little bit of mangrove on top of this right here and add that up. On either side, of course. On the outside of this, let's add in some dark oak trapdoors and some dark oak palisades. Going up 2 blocks, yeah. And this is just to give it a little bit of a border and also a little bit of support for the roof, which we can come in with that iridium and start adding it in. I want to go for a very flat roof here, so only using a few slabs. Switching the focus back to the main building, going for some bricks to build up the main walls. We're at the top here yet again, want to come in with that iridium to add in a roof. Now I do definitely want to add in some chimneys up here. That's going to be facing sideways. Okay, let me just remove that. And downwards, please. Then we can stack these train hulls up a few blocks. And this one too. just like that. Realize you forget the campfires and have to jump all the way down and grab them. Placing the campfires and some cast iron trapdoors around that, of course, just to cover up the wood. And then why don't we slap a millstone on top of that? Also tying these chimneys down to the ground a little bit with some iron bars here. I think that's gonna add that little bit of detail I want. And to be fair, let's also tie them over here because this is a very open field and I don't want them to tip over. Let's grab our copycat steps here and I want to outline the granite here on the bottom as I think we just need a little bit of an outline. Yeah, I don't really know why I liked it, which looks absolutely lovely. And now we gotta do some windows here. So what is this? Stam doing an interior? Yep, I'm very much doing an interior. Well, we'll check that out in just a second as I really want to get the windows in. And some ladders on the outside of that. Not up there though. Thank you. Final things here on the outside. I want to do a few small pipes, which I think would be really cool. Just something like that, and then we can outline this with a little bit of acacia trapdoors. These are the wrong way. I want the little black thing facing downwards. And yep, that looks pretty cool. And now there's one more thing I want to do, and that is a drain. I haven't done one of these in ages. So some shaft there to connect it to the building in just a second here using some metal brackets, which they just add a lot to buildings. So why don't we add one over here on this side as well? And maybe this one won't be collecting the most water because it's at the top of the roof I just thought about, but it looks good. Now on the inside here, we need to spruce it up a little bit. And I mean that very, very much literally. So some spruce to support up the windows. I also want to add that on top of the windows. Oh. And while we're up here, I should really start extending down the chains. And I wish you could place these like you place stuff in Create. On either side here, let's add in some spruce support on the side of the windows. Swoop. Before also adding one in the middle. And there. Under this, some moss with some airy trapdoors in front. And then I want some glowberries hanging down from that. Let's get these chains down one more block. Before we take some dark oak support on the side of that. That's the wrong way. And then some end rods on that to light up the farm. Adding in a little loft with a bed that you can sleep on, because why not? Maybe I need to sleep and I'm in the area and I can just pop by here. And believe it or not, I actually really enjoyed making this interior. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I might regret saying this, but I'm gonna try to make some more interiors in the future because they look so good. I also added this little secret entrance back here, which I still need to build a moss farm, and this design is by Raceworks, and I will leave a link to his video in the description. I'm actually not sure how you would make a create moss farm, so I'm just going for the vanilla one. But we're gonna need some place to store all of these resources, because I am way too lazy to run around to like 5 different buildings and gather up the blocks. And that's why I've done a little bit of material gathering here to build a barn warehouse thing. Getting a head start here on the barn for the main portion, I went with birch walls, and for the other bit, some dean bricks. Topping both of those off with mangrove. Now let's see here. I want to start working in a roof, and first some support to that roof, and then coming in with some warp down here on top. And towards the end here, I want to bring in a little bit of copper, just to mix up the roof a little bit. Otherwise, it's gonna get pretty boring. Then we start with our slabs, going up a few blocks here into the middle without falling. Starting to fill this first roof in here before we can do the same style on the other, but a little bigger, leaving a gap up in the middle of that where we can bring up some spruce walls. On top of this, let's come in with some deep slate here, and I think I did something similar back over at the lumber mill, which I know I really enjoy. In the absolute middle of this, let's take away 6 blocks of the roof here, where I want to come in with some beehives facing, well, that's not correct, with a barrel in between before we can bring out some mud and then some fence gates to cut those off. Then on top of this, coming back with the warp to finish up this little roof here, just like that. A few trapdoors on the outside of this. On this side, let's do some in here. Open those up, or we'll close them. Then we can do some open here on the outside. Yep, that looks good. I've also prepared a little bit of support right over here, which we'll get to in a second, because this barn definitely needs a windmill. Let's start getting some windows in here already as we move very fast with this build, making the entrance a little grander with making an archway, but it looks a little flat, so let's flip that upside down and place some support just like that. Of course, I forgot some moss and warped, as you can never really go wrong with a flower bed here in the back. Also, for some reason, added in a door up there, so we gotta get a staircase leading up to that. And we'll use some catwalks. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna be able to use that door. That you're gonna see in a second. But the front is starting to look good. I want something coming out up here, but I need to work a little bit on the interior. Yep, we're going 2 for 2 on interiors for this one. Well, this is exactly what I didn't want happening. But in the front here, let's add in some shafts. Fight off some mobs. More shafts. Where we can come in with some brackets on those. And then some lanterns on the bottom of that, just to give it a little bit of light here. Shifting my focus to the inside now, let's add in a coarse dirt floor. And now let's take a whole bunch of spruce and make the inside a little nicer. And yeah, here we go, blocking that door I already said that we couldn't use earlier. We now start popping in a few chests right here, since this is going to be a storage building. Then let's pop in a door here. We definitely need something on the side, but in a little bit. As this is going to be our input, so let's run a mechanical belt from there all the way over to here. Before in the back side of this, we're gonna need a ton of funnels. Then grabbing a mechanical arm, I gotta select all of these, which I absolutely hate doing. Select some to grab from. Find in the middle here, and we can place that right there. Gearbox, cogwheel, and a shaft to power that from there. Where we now just repeat that right over here. Right over here, one more shaft, and this belt line we can extend out just a few blocks this direction. And then we can place a tunnel right there, because I definitely don't want this to overflow, so I'm just gonna burn everything. In this corner here, we can get in a little bit of moss. Getting some baskets in here, and these are such a pain to craft. Over here, I only have 3 of the crops right now, so we can add those in, but I still need to get barrels of the other ones. On the second floor here, though, we can add in a little bit of wheat and our remaining carrot crates. Then I want to take a metal girder and run that across the roof here, over to that point before we can take an industrial iron, and then girder 1, 2, and 3. At the end right there, we can add in a grindstone, which I want to extend down 3 rope from. And yep, that's looking up. It actually looks a little flat up here right now, so some copycat steps with some polished tuff in right up here. To get some power going for this building, I mentioned it earlier, I wanted to add in a windmill. Taking the design I used all the way back in episode 1, but making it a little bit bigger. We need some way where the items are going to be in here, so let's add in some jungle. Then on top of this, we could come in with some stripped jungle planks before adding in a roof using a little bit of spruce. Hopping down from the roof of that, let's add in some leaves right here. Windows far back in here. Let's get some flowers going on top of these. And some trapdoors on the corner. Now, on the side here with the conveyor belt, I want to start extending up a silo to burn everything. And that might not make that much sense, but it's Minecraft. It doesn't have to make sense. But what I know does make sense is silos in a barn. At a barn, in a barn, yes. Now, one final thing I want to add here is just a few tracks on the back side of this. We won't be using these today, but I just want them there for the future train episode. Yep, a train episode is definitely coming. It's just not right now. Episode 10, and that's also a world download, by the way. You can get this whole world for free, which, well, if you don't want to miss that, you should definitely consider subscribing. And it also helps me out. Thank you. Now with our storage fixed, oops, I want to see, do I have any andesite casings? I'm out of andesite casings. I'm definitely not out of it, but why don't we make a few more? And then we can craft a bunch of gantry shafts. That's definitely going to be enough. And I'm going to have 9 crop farms, so I'm going to need 9 gantry shafts. I already have the shafts, I just need the carriages. Now I just have to figure out where to place these. I'm just going to get started right here. Which, yep, that is definitely looking cool. And I've got to be honest here, I really like these fields, but I'm a huge fan of these rectangular fields. I think they look really industrial in a sense, and I don't know, they look pretty cool. Let's try to understand how this works. I've never really built any gantry shaft farms before, so this is gonna be interesting. I know I need a gantry shaft. Yep, that's it. And a gantry. And I can actually place that sideways. Okay, that was one of the things I was worried about. And I know these are very small, but I don't think I'll be using a whole lot of crops in this world, so I'm fine with that. I've also had the Farmer's Delight mod for a few months now, and I'm yet to craft anything in it. Except detail blocks, of course. some trapdoors above some spruce planks, and I forgot harvesters. A bunch of mechanical harvesters. Why don't we actually be a little smart here and use some barrels instead of planks right here to store things? Then we can place the harvesters on the front of these, and yeah, that's kind of it. Now let's see here. So I want to get in a gear shift, and then we can take away those, place 2 shafts and a vertical gearbox, and that should be able to power it. And then if we just put a redstone link on top of there, that should hopefully work, or at least it will with a little bit of glue. And now we just have to repeat that 8 more times. Now I'm gonna come back to all of these crops here, as I need to do a little more material gathering. Let's see here. I need 1 stack of sand and a stack of gravel. Realize I'm all out of black dye, and I think I should be able to crush coal. That worked. Why have I not used that before? Oh, and oops. Anyways, let's turn that into light gray dye and craft that into light gray concrete powder. And now I have no idea why I didn't do this last time, but I can of course wash the concrete to get concrete instead of having to place it and break it. So many people told me, and I don't know how it crossed my mind because I've done it in the past. And we can turn half a stack of this into some bricks. I somehow magically fixed the lag I was having in my world, which I'm so happy about. And to celebrate, let's use some crimson, a wood I don't think I've ever used in this world yet. I also don't need a crazy amount of it. And just a whole bunch of blocks that I now have. I actually don't have all the blocks I need because I need some oxidized copper, which I have not had the time to oxidize yet, and I do not have the time to wait for it. Since I'm going away for a few days here, and now I really need to get some recording done. I did something wrong when I counted, but that's fine. And now let's get our blocks ready. Getting us started down here at the seabed. Let's start extending up some polished tuff up a few blocks to the surface. And using some light blue glass here, let's do 3 blocks before we can get the tuff back. And then this we can extend down into the bottom as well. And if you're wondering what I'm wearing a back tank and a diving set, and I look pretty cool. Stream forced me to do it. Here we can place a clutch, and then we do shafts, 3 of those, before we take 3 large water wheels, which is going to be powering all of this. And we can put some mangrove on those because I think that looks super good, and didn't even use the planks. Then to actually get this spinning, we need to place down a few temporary blocks right in here, which we then go ahead and break. That's spinning beautifully. We need to fix some details over here, but in a sec. And this is actually eventually going to be powering our sugarcane farm and bamboo. While the water wheel has to be down at the water, I don't want the house to be sat right at the river edge, so using some cobblestone to make some foundations, where I want to bring up a couple of walls using the light gray concrete from earlier. Now it's looking quite weird right now, so to fix that, let's start off with extending up some support pillars here. Some cross beams right down here because, well, it's probably gonna look lovely. Then one at the top over here. Let's extend that one out 1 block that way. And all of these can get a industrial iron block on them. Connect all of these up right here. Eventually, there's going to be a floor right there, but we can get some spruce support in the middle of this meanwhile. We can already now take some oak planks down here, extend that up 2 layers. I think it's going to be absolutely perfect. So let's grab some logs on top of this. And 1 layer up with this. Starting to get a rough shape now. I want to come in with our crimson wood for another part. While I'm still waiting for the copper to oxidize, at least I can add it in this roof. I want to get some cool aspects into this now, so bamboo, bone meal, sugarcane, and string. And mudline going through here. Then we're going to do vertical spruce right around there. And behind this, stack these up a few layers. I actually need to get some things on the inside done as well. Mainly just a few trapdoors that we can block in some water with, which I should be able to grab around there. Perfect. Which means we can now get some sugarcane here in the front. And since we have string, that means that we can place it up like that. And then some string on these 2, and they will never grow. And as I was about to forget, I'm just going to add in some windows in front of these, which is looking awesome. Except the scaffolding and then the details up here. I also want to get in mud, but a lot bigger of a patch. And here we can already go ahead and get in some windows. Now the bamboo I want to do a little differently because I can plant it right here. But if I place bamboo on bamboo, it's just gonna look like that, and that's not very nice. But if it grows naturally, that's how it looks. Why is that? Why have you just grown twice? It also does that when you bone meal it. And yep, that's definitely looking good. And oh, I haven't added in the stairs yet. Going back outside now to add in some spruce details around the first walls. And I should probably work on the staircase going up as well, just so I don't fall down again. On the inside, let's go 3 for 3 on interiors for today's episode. And the shipment had a bunch of different, like, bamboo blocks, which I don't have in this update yet, and I miss so so much. And since I haven't really shown off the cactus yet, let's place that up there with a cactus in it and a lantern next to that. Because yeah, this is also going to be a cactus farm. They're not going to all fit in here. None of them are actually. Interior is also very, very scuffed because these aren't lined up. So let's get some stairs. We can add in a floor of andesite, which on the bottom we can add in some levers right there and flip those. And while we're down here, we can add a redstone one right there, block, and a sticky piston right there, which coming from above looks just like this. We add in some of those and a lever in here, and we can now turn on and off the farm. And a few more details in here, a lantern and some ladders. Perfect little control room. And I don't think there's much more I'm gonna do to this building except that in the roof. So let's grab up most of the copper, which is actually oxidized. Being quite eager to slap on the roof now, I just went ahead and did it. Building with a roof in is looking absolutely fantastic. Its features they haven't really seen better days, to be fair. So let's start working on the actual farm now that we got the building situated. And yeah, I'm gonna use the majority of the room that we have down here. Well, not the majority of the room, but the majority of the farm is gonna be in the room we already have. That's definitely not enough moss, so let's run the moss farm for a little bit. But this should be close enough for that to keep running, so I can just start placing in the moss already. Alright, putting water in all of these is gonna take a while. Oh yeah, it's stacking up now, but I'm gonna turn it off because I need to leave the area and I'm scared of it breaking. And of course I have no casings here. So heading over to the Kale Factory, which is such a better name than kelp, andesite, lava, everything factory. The person who commented that, you're genius. Let's craft yet another gantry shaft, 10 harvesters, and 10 mechanical saws. Perfect. And now we can get a gantry shaft running from here. And if I place a gantry, we can make sure that this goes all the way over to the end. Now, actually giving it a little bit of thought here, I don't really want to use a barrel. I want to use a chest instead. And I want to place that as high as possible. So we're going to place that going out just like that. Then this is never going to be seen. So just some spruce going down right here and across on either side. And I have exactly the amount I need. Perfect. On this side, we do harvesters as that's what sugarcane needs. And I won't lie, it took me a little time to figure out that you needed saws to do bamboo. Yep, this is gonna go and it's a little slow. I won't lie. So we gotta speed this up and this won't be pretty. And then we can speed this up maybe all the way even and yeah, that's gonna be perfect. Walking on this field is very weird, which means our output will be right under here. And I'm thinking we could just do like a chute onto a belt and up to the storage. On my way back here, I'm actually just gonna clean up this bamboo because I don't need it. And I need bamboo down in the farm. Mess of day one create. Also clean this up as I don't want this here anymore. Yep, sugarcane, you too. And now we can start planting in all of this. At least the bamboo is growing. The sugarcane hasn't yet. Let's go ahead and make sure it works. It's quite slow cutting down the bamboo, but it does look like it has made it to the end. While in the mood of building farms, I also decided to build up the cactus farm real quick. And so I've gone ahead and connected that up leading into here. And we're already starting to fill up on a few different materials. So I've also prepped a few materials here for our next building. And I'm lazy, so we're gonna do this one with the schematic cannon. And this is gonna be our melon and pumpkin farm. And will also be the only house today that does not include an interior. I've been super happy with the interiors I have made, but I just could not fit one in this one. I'm gonna have to craft up a hopper here and a minecart, and that gets us a minecart with hopper down right here, and we place that there. Hopefully this will make it now. Now it hasn't come back, so I'm guessing something's wrong up here. Huh? How are they unpowered? Okay, that works now, and we can push you off, and that should work. And now I need to do some planting because the schematic cannon wasn't the best. Oh, I've also done that wrong. Oh, I've got to redo the whole... It's not the most annoying fix, but I have to take away all of these to replace them. And well, yeah, this is why there's no interior, because I can't even get in there. But we are producing stuff. Now we just have to get the output here hooked up over to the barn. And that should do it. We should see, yep, there they are. Turning back up here to the storage. We should see them arriving here in just a second. That's a cactus. Yep, here they are. Perfect. Let's see. We now have sugarcane, bamboo, pumpkin, melon, and cactus all flowing into the system. And we might as well get the moss hooked up here. But I do want to make a small little change, as this one can be our bone meal and this one be the moss one. So I want to send these two hoppers into some composters into a barrel. And if we just place a funnel right there, right, I have nothing in here, but I could place some bone meal in there, and that's making its way around here, and eventually arriving over here. This little mess, and yes, perfect. And now we're stocking up on most of the things. Okay, maybe not most of the things, but a bunch of them. We still have this row here to stock up on, but I need to build another house for that, and I kind of want to finish the crops farm. All I really need is to see if I have seeds. I've got wheat seeds. I've got a few cabbage seeds, some potatoes, beetroot, netherwort, a tomato seeds, cabbage, and onions. Perfect. Gonna want some water here in the middle, and this is why we double dirt. Just building on top of it is so much easier. Over in this one, right over here, closest to the must factory, is where I want to have my tomato field. And it turns out that you can make cabbage seeds. So, where you gotta do some exploring to get those. And over here on the final field, let's get some netherwarts in right over here. Now, I'm actually not sure if this is going to produce a lot amount of netherwarts, but over time, I'm hoping it will stack up. And now with all of the crops that I have at hand right now planted, we actually have to get these up and running. Now, all of these shafts you see here in the floor is the power we need to hook up. And I was planning to do that first, but it might only be easier to hook up the output system, hook the belts up from there to those. Now, it's definitely not the prettiest right now, because I had to redo the sizes of them a little bit, but it works. We can press this lever here, and all of them will fire, and then we can retract them all. Perfect. Now, let's see if we got any goods. We got wheat, netherwort, tomatoes, yes, and cabbage. Oh, we got cabbage seeds. That means we can extend that without having to go exploring. Oh, we already have half a chest of bamboo. But now, I think it's time for our final building. And there still is one more farming product that I'm missing, and that is honey. So, how much copper do I have? Not a lot, to be fair. Yeah, that's an issue. So, let's just fly over in this direction, because this is one of the directions I haven't been mining. So, let's just mine a little bit of copper. Out of the caves, and that should last me for this episode. And I still love this waterfall so much. Let's have all of the smelt up. While we're waiting for that, let's grab some planks and slabs, and we can craft 25. That's not enough. I need about a stack of barrels. That's a few extra. We're gonna take our copper. Let's press some of that down into plates. Let's create a whole stack of fluid tanks and a bunch of fluid pipes as well. 3 of those we can turn into pumps, and quickly smashing down a gold sheet, we can create a weighted ejector, because I'm quite excited to use a weighted ejector in a factory, because I've seen other people do it, and I really want to do it. I want to craft up 15 beehives as well. And all the way back in episode 4, I created this temporary beehive area right over here, and I now need to fill these with bees. So I'm just gonna stand here and breed a bunch of them. All right, bees seem to have run out of homes, which means that they are crap. There's no campfires anywhere. I hope you guys don't hate me. And I do think I need a few more. But we will see when night comes here. While we're waiting for night, I need a sea pickle. Pickles! Pickles! Now, hopefully, yes, it does look like they don't have homes, everyone. Which means I can grab these now. And all of them should have 3 bees inside of them. I'll clean this up when I get the time. A bunch of blocks now, filling almost 5 shulker boxes. For the final building of today, I still have a bunch more work to do. Starting us off with a foundation here, using a bit of deep slate. Before I want to bring back a build palette from the city, using a mix of white blocks. On top of this, I want to bring in some red with our mangrove to finish up the walls. First of all, we should definitely start working on a floor down here, and the double dirt wasn't sufficient right here, but that's fine. Towards the door here, we can sprinkle in a little bit of coarse dirt as well. Let's also start to get some polished deep slate on top of this, with some flowering azaleas in front of that, and there's a casing back here going up 2 blocks. We put that in our offhand. I want to place a few of these going this way. And this is where few of our bees are going to be sitting, and we can even have some glass trap doors in front of this. Close all of those down, replicate that on this side as well, of course. Now, let's see, so we're going to want pipes all over these, but actually I have to place these one by one. I've just realized I got to place it like that, and then make it one of those. Place the next one, because it definitely looks better with individual pipes. Above this, we can go in with some regular ones. Then we can have a pump going up in that direction. Perfect. We wrap that around here, skipping 1 block here where we can place in a pump. This is gonna go over and up into the wall over here. We can have some of those. Now for some power here. And this is where the beauty of andesite casings comes in, because I had to get a little smart when hooking stuff up here. So we can cover all of those, and then we can make the rest of the floor out of andesite casing. Before we continue with the upstairs, let's extend up some cast iron support 5 blocks there and 2 blocks right out here. On top of these, an industrial iron and then some cast iron in between here, along with some copycat panels just like that. Connecting over to here, where we can place some sheet in that. Perfect. I'm gonna get this in right above here so that I easily can place that with the sheets in them. To actually get up there, we can place these going up, and then once we're actually up here, we do some andesite catwalks around here on the inside, all around to there, and all the way over this way. Right under the windows here, I know I want some leaves later, so we're gonna do some trap doors instead. And then with a wrench, we can just simply fix all of these, because I do not want the railings. Because I want to make my own ones with a few chutes up here. Cast iron fences that we already placed earlier, and then on these I want to do some dark oak just to connect these a little bit. It makes it look a little better. And then one final decoration here in the front with a few shafts on these 2 metal brackets, and that's the wrong way, and then a soul campfire below that. On the side of this building, I want to add in a chimney, and using a bunch of different andesite blocks for that. Next here to the chimney on the front side, I want to take that boiler that I had in the sketch from earlier and start building that up. And before we top off the top there, let's add in our windows, and then we can take this fluid container and stack that up to here before we make some copper slabs in a ring around that. And then we take some pipes from that and lead it over into here. So now our pipes connect from these into a storage tank, up and into the chimney, which if we come to the back here, let's run those off and into there. Some windows and that. And now our honey is right here. We can run those fruit pipes down and into a basin, where on top of that we can place a mechanical press. Finishing the upstairs with a few trapdoors, which we can go ahead and remove. Then a mechanical belt running from there to right over here, with some more casings on top of that. And this over here. Casings everywhere. Or we only see that too. And that. Now I need to remember where I set this to target. I'm gonna set this weighted ejector here now to target that block from there, which hopefully works. I fingers crossed. Otherwise, I'll fix that later. So there's the deployers back here, which we can put shears into from the top. Then there's going to be the beehives back here, obviously. The deployers. Oh, I need some funnels on those, right. The deployers are going to be on there. Honeycomb is going to end up on the weighted ejector, fly up, land on this belt here, and down and over into the barn. And then the honey will come here, become blocks, and also go that way. And now, Uber told me if you put shears, can't have that as the filter. Uber, you lied to me. Uber, you lied! Wait, I just can't see it. Okay, I think it's there, but I can't see it. We can actually confirm this by placing these here. And if I input that, that won't end up there. It's gonna be in the hand, which I can't see. Perfect. With the create components fixed here, let's start making a roof. And for this roof here, using some dark oak while going for a very barn-styled roof. The back here does look a little weird, but I do need to access the hopper somehow. And since I really wanted to use the weighted ejector, I needed a hole in the roof. Can you really blame me though? They're pretty cool. With the roof now done, I hopped into the inside to finish off our last interior. Little pickle on the desk here as a cup, and it's turning nighttime so we can go for a sleep back in the bed. And one thing as well, I want to add in a crafting blueprint because it looks pretty cool. And this interior looks quite nice actually. There's a lot of spruce, but spruce is good. We like spruce. With most of the building done, there was only one thing left, and that was to fix the back. And I ran out of detailing ideas, so opting to add in a tree as well. Now there's only one more thing for us left to do, so that's to grab all of our 15 beehives. And I'm gonna place in this one first. There should be a lot more bees in here. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Mistakes were made, mistakes were made. Blocks! Give me blocks! Alright, note to future self. Work with bees during the nighttime. All of them in, and yeah, that's way too few bees. Down here is where I want to hook all of this up. Output should be simple enough. Gonna run that conveyor belt all the way back here, and that should be fixed. Are we seeing some items pop down here? I just got honeycombs. Oh yeah, because I only have one shear set. And I get honey blocks already. Okay, it is working. Now with all of the farms in working condition, we've got to get some paths in here to connect them. Getting all of the paths in here, I absolutely love this point of a project where everything starts to kind of come together. Now, I've already done a few fields right over here on stream, but to fully connect this project, I think we need a ton more, and I mean a lot. Filling almost all of the dead space that we have in between the buildings to cramp in as many fields as possible. I love the fields. I always love fields in Minecraft. I've actually done a little bit of a rethink here on the backside as I have this train track here, and my plan was to run that down here, but instead I think we're gonna have it go this direction, and there's gonna be some turns and some things over here, and it's gonna go down by the riverside instead, and then over to the bridge. I'm not doing that today anyways because that's the train episode 10. Very soon. You should consider subscribing if you don't want to miss trains, because I'm so excited. But if we check our storage here, we're actually missing one of the 9 crops. I've yet to make a rice farm, and I can't lie, but I'm a little scared I might not have any rice at all. No, I don't know where they spawn. I'm just gonna fly off in this direction. Cold biome is maybe not the right one, but why not? And I've explored a lot in this world, and I've seen a lot of biomes, but one of the biomes I don't remember I've ever been to is swamp biomes, and it would make sense for the rice to grow there since it grows in water, and that's a swamp biome. Let's test. That's gonna be onions. Ooh, and alliums. Okay, actually, I'm not gonna complain about that. This also does not look like rice. Nope, this is beets. Oh, yeah, I was correct. It grows in water, and I can just harvest. Everything else I need should already be here. In gantry shafts, a gantry carriage, harvesters. Now I want to pop down behind the farm here, and I've left this terraforming a little unfinished for a little while now, just because I know I want a rice field in here. Okay, so we're gonna want the gantry shaft running from here. Under here, we place a funnel on the bottom of that, right into a belt going off in this direction. And that's the rice field set up. It needs to grow. I've planted the few crops that we do have. Excuse me? Okay, Halloween. I completely forgot about that. Now we forgot one thing left to do, and that is to grab a bunch of these seeds, a whole bunch of onions, carrots, and potatoes. And now I've just got to start planting. With our fields now planted, it's finally time to round off this episode. And this has been one of those projects which I've had on my list for months now. And with it being done, I can say it turned out 10 times better than I ever could imagine. And just walking around down here between all of the buildings, all of the farms, it makes me happy. So thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. No.